Great message, and it goes back to God once again. Who all has heard of Cleon Skousen? Anybody? Cleon Skousen. Yeah. A couple things about your speech there, and I agree totally with everything that you said. What I say on my broadcast, that just like the last 8 years, all right, with everything that went on the last 8 years, the Christians are to blame. You know? The Christians, by sitting back, and I've witnessed it time and time again, saying, it's all in God's hands, putting their hands up, it's all in God's hands. Instead of having action to fight back against all this evil that happened in the last 8 years. And it was in turbo drive, was it not? It was in turbo drive. We got a heck of a lot of gains to make to get our country back to God, but God is the key. Absolute key. And you know, I want to invite you next year to the Springfield Right to Life. I emceed their event this last year, and I totally agree with that. I mean, if you're a Christian, that astonished me. That graph that you had there, that astonished me. It's incredible. But again, it all goes back to God. And it all goes back, Cleon Skousen is the one that has the 45 goals of communist takeover of our country. All right? You know that, right? Yeah, and it's in there. Do away with family values, morals of society, making gays and the transgender normal. These are all things that within the 45 goals of communist takeover of America. And they succeeded a lot during the last 8 years, did they not? And we got to fight, we got to stand up, speak out, and get involved against it all. Otherwise, what are we? We're going to lose our country. Period. I don't care who's in the White House. I mean, I agree with who's in the White House right now. He's made a lot of gains for America. But it's the American Christians that need to get some backbone and start standing up, speaking out, and getting involved, instead of sitting back saying it's all in God's hands. That's my standpoint. So I appreciate your message. Thank you. Let's see. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but running for Lieutenant Governor of the state of Illinois, Aaron, going to bring him up. Can you pronounce your last name? Oh, really? Were you a Marine? God bless you, man. Thank you for your service. Aaron Merreighn.
How's everybody doing today? My name's Aaron Merreighn. I'm running as Conservative Party candidate for Lieutenant Governor with Senator Sam McCann. He's currently the Republican elected senator for the 50th Senate District in Illinois. Great speech, very motivational. Agree with a lot of the things you say. With Sam as your governor, he will definitely help restore traditional family values to Illinois. That's part of our platform, bringing back those traditional family values. You know, we're going to stand up against illegal immigration. We're going to fight for our Second Amendment rights. We're going to protect babies from the day that they're conceived, not let them be aborted, especially not be funded by us. Taxpayers shouldn't fund that on their backs. That should be, if you're going to do something like that, then you need to do it on your own, because the rest of us don't believe in that. Anybody have any questions for me?
Common Core, where do you stand on that?
I am completely against it. My own son couldn't sign his name, and I had to teach him and several of his friends to write in cursive. That's a sad day when our schools aren't teaching our children how to write in cursive anymore. Most of our founding documents are wrote in cursive. If our founding fathers was good enough for them to write in cursive, we should be good enough for our children of the 21st century, right? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
What's your concept of balancing the budget for the state?
You know, well, as Lieutenant Governor, you know, that's not really a big role that I'll play. The Governor candidate Senator Sam McCann will play a big role on that. But I know his big idea is zero-based balancing. A lot of us use that at our house. We base our bills off the money we have, not off what we think we're going to need, or hey, we used $1 million this month, so we're going to need $2 million next month. No, that's not the way it works. You're going to answer for every dollar that you would request. You're not just going to come back to the state and expect us to sign off on a budget that's you're asking for twice as much money that you had last year, and you didn't even use that much money.
Will you hold the comptroller to only people accountable for the misuse of funds that happen every day?
Yes, we will hold everybody accountable.
Right now, that's not being done.
And you're right, it's not being done. There's a lot of unaccountability being done across Illinois right now, and it's time that people stand up. That's why me and Sam are running. We're standing up, we're saying we're being noticed, and we're saying what needs to be said, and we will hold people accountable. We're already calling them out. Senator McCann is actually the only elected state senator to stand up to both Madigan and Bronner. So he's not afraid to stand up to anybody. He believes in pretty much everything that's been spoken about here today. So, any other questions?
What about the Second Amendment and having this state allow carry and conceal from other states?
Very supportive of concealing, cross-state concealing weapons. I have a concealed carry. I'm very pro-Second Amendment. Senator McCann is very pro-Second Amendment. His son is a skeet shooter and trying to make the Olympics right now. So we're very, very, very protective of the Second Amendment.
So you would make it reciprocal from one state to the next?
I would like to see that, yes. I'd like to see the FOID card done away with. We're like one of the last states in America that still requires that. Why are legal gun owners being punished in the state of Illinois while criminals are getting guns by the thousands?
What about the red flag law?
What's the red flag?
Red flag law?
I haven't heard
The one
that.
that basically, they can come in and confiscate your guns. if
That,
they're
yes,
threatened.
no,
You've never committed any
I
crime?
do not agree with that at all. Not at all. And what good did it do? The guy that they gave his dad his guns ended up shooting up a Waffle House, right? So that didn't do any good. So why are, again, legal gun owners going to be punished? You shouldn't be able to come into my house and take anything without a proper warrant or our Constitution, correct? I have the right to unlawful search and seizure, so you don't get to come into my house and take my guns.
What about, with all that said about the Second Amendment, what kind of gains would you make up in Chicago itself, being capital shootings, you know?
Actually, it's gone down. It's not the number, it's not on the top 10 anymore.
Sorry.
And I think that's because the per capita people have gone down in Chicago. You know, that's a subject that I don't really have a good answer for you right now on. I don't know what's going to slow that down. The people standing up in their own neighborhoods, for one, would probably slow that down. As far as the state itself, you put more cops and cops on the streets, but when cops are having their hands tied because every time they do something they have to report it, or every time they pull their gun out to defend themselves they're being arrested and charged with murder or whatever, there's not much you can do to slow it down when you've got cops going, do I defend myself or do I die? That's a hard topic when you put cops in that situation, and that's the way Cook County and Chicago PD is in right now. A lot of police departments are in that way, especially, you know, with the immigration bills and making it where cops can't help ICE agents when they come into town to arrest illegal immigrants. We're tying law enforcement's hands. What do we expect them to do? I mean, how can we slow down anything illegally if we're tying cops' hands every time they turn around?
What about, in relation to that, what about what's been referred to as far as having reserves going into Chicago? Do you agree with that?
The National Guard, you mean? The National Guard, you mean? That's an option I haven't personally researched and looked into, so I wouldn't say I agree or disagree with it. That needs to be researched more. I don't, serving in 5 combat tours overseas, 3 in Iraq, I know what it's like to bring the military into the streets of a big city and take over, and I don't know that anybody in America necessarily wants that in their hometown, not even in Chicago. But it is definitely something to look over. I know it's been brought up by Trump, and I'm a big Trump supporter. I voted for him. I'll vote for him in 2020. I'll answer the phone when he calls me. I know there are options that need to be researched. I don't necessarily know that the National Guard is the right call, but at the same time, if we're going to continue to tie cops' hands, then we need to do something. Law enforcement can't be standing there every night making a decision whether or not they're going to die or defend themselves or be charged with murder and lose their job the next day. we have to stop tying law enforcement hands. They should be able to do their job.
Flipping the switch, what about immigration? What about that great sanctuary city in Chicago?
I don't agree with immigration sanctuary cities at all. I believe that the federal ICE agents are there for a reason. The Border Patrol is there for a reason. They have a job to do just like we do, and we should cooperate with them when they come into our state. If you are here illegally, you are breaking the law. If I go out away from this stage and break the law right now, I'm going to go to jail, correct? Just because I'm illegal doesn't make me special. Illegal in the name itself says you're breaking the law. You should be arrested. Law enforcement's job is to enforce the laws. If you're illegal, they should enforce the law, period.
So do you feel that by anybody across the nation, it doesn't matter what state, like Chicago, California, you name it, wherever the sanctuary cities are, Baltimore, are these people not committing treason? Should they not be arrested allowing sanctuary cities? And maybe treason might be too big of a word, too radical, but should they not be arrested because they are breaking the law themselves, allowing a sanctuary city?
At every level of state, public government, public service even, a lot of, your police officers, your firefighters, we all take an oath, right? Everybody takes an oath to this country to obey the laws and execute the orders and the laws above us. And yeah, if you are hiding, if I hide somebody, I'm aiding and abetting a criminal, and I'll go to jail for that. If you're hiding them in your city, you should be held accountable for that. The president is spot on with that idea, that thought.
So you believe in DACA, though?
DACA is the Dreamers Act, right? I believe in legal immigration. So that's what our country was founded on, right? I'm Irish and I'm German. So my ancestors came over here from Ireland during the potato famine. Most of them settled in Rock Island, Moline. They came over here the right way. I have friends that are from Puerto Rico or from the Philippines, Mexican friends who are American citizens today, German friends that are American citizens today because they came over here the right way. They're legal citizens. If you're an illegal alien or an illegal immigrant, by definition, in the wording itself, you're breaking the law. So if your parents fail to get citizenship, it sucks, it really does. It's a hard pill to swallow, but the law is the law. And if you want to stay with your parents, you got to go home with them, even though that's not your home. And it's a very hard pill to swallow because some of these kids were born here. This is their home. But the law is the law at the end of the day. I believe in small government.
You did so good, we let you go.
I believe in small government. We don't need more laws running controlling the people. We need less rules. But we got to have some rules, right? Or otherwise it'd just be anarchy. So, and the rules we have are rules for a reason. Everybody that legally comes over here, stays here, hopefully lives the American dream. That's the ideal, right? You come here illegal, you break the law, you go to jail, you get sent home.
Where do you guys stand on a constitutional convention?
What's that? Excuse me?
The constitutional convention that they've been trying to do to change our constitution?
Yeah, I'm not really fond of changing anything in our Constitution. Not really fond of that at all. So.
Anybody else got questions?
Anybody else?
Anybody else got any questions for me?
How about some last words then?
One more.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to be talking about it here in a little bit anyways, but Mr. Pritzker and his idea on license plates and taxing by the mile.
Okay, I can tell you what I've heard with the taxing by the mile came because of electric cars, right? Electric cars don't pay gas tax, so they're just driving around on our roads while the rest of us that pay for gas have to pay a road tax on our gases when we fill up with gas. So electric cars aren't currently being charged anything. So if you have an electric car, you're not paying for roads that you drive on. So while I don't agree with the mileage tax at all, I do think there should be something set up where they're paying the same amount of, like we pay with a gas tax, they should have to pay that with a charging station or something. It's my personal opinion.
Right, but the way he has it written up so far.
No, I disagree with it completely.
It's everybody.
I disagree with just about everything Pritzker says.
As do I.
And Ronner. So,
As do I.
but yes, that's kind of like, the poll tax or the sugar tax. I mean, come on, really, these are now, haven't Illinoisans been taxed enough?
Yeah.
I mean,
They've been
one of the
taxed
highest property taxes in the state. I mean, people are, you know, when I came out of the Marine Corps, it was always, where are you gonna go, Illinois or Texas, the best two states for veterans. And then it slowly became, well, we're not going to Illinois because taxes there are ridiculous for everybody. They're just, I mean, people are moving, this is the land of leaving. Me and Senator McCann are trying to make this the land of Lincoln again. We need to bring people back. You shouldn't have to take a vacation to Missouri. There are literally thousands of great places in Illinois if we would just keep the maintenance upkeep on them and actually utilize them. I mean, this is a great state. This is home, and home should be a great place, right?
What about some last words then for yourself?
That's kind of my last words.